Right there, geezers, Jules here from FGS, home of the Future Games Show. And you know what? One of my favourite experiences of gaming as a whole when I was growing up was the sheer excitement that I felt hitting the playground on a Monday to go discuss all the different titles that we and my friends had played together over the weekend. We'd all share stories of like triumphs with giddy abandon or just moan on and on about how difficult certain games were, and sometimes we'd rock up with a story that would utterly silence the crowd and elicit these immortal words. No way, bud, you're lying, you is. Grab those sharpened sticks and bleed this fibbing piggy. I tell you, school was a pretty different time back in the day for me. But still, sometimes you would reveal a secret or Easter egg that you'd found that was just so utterly deranged that even your best friends wouldn't believe the words that were coming out of your mouth. And because this was a pre-internet age, there was no way to fight your case other than inviting everyone around for the next weekend in order to set the story straight. So let justice rain down today, my friends, because the Easter eggs and secrets that we're going to be talking about today definitely are strange. They are out there, and sometimes they are buried in layers upon layers of code, but at their core are 100% real. So with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are 8 video game secrets so well hidden you'll think we're lying. Number 8, questions, answers, and ducks. Threshold. Offbeat, intense, creepy, and insanely off-putting. No, this isn't just what my dating profile will read when my girlfriend Kerry finally gets tired of my endless Warhammer purchases, but the descriptors of the fascinating short horror game Threshold. Set atop a mysterious mountain where the air is too thin to work in without constant doses of sparkling Perrier from Spaceballs, you play as a downtrodden drone with just one task: keep those trains bloody running. Keep them running no matter what the cost. They must never stop, and as a result, you can never stop. With its jagged PS1 style visuals, dark aesthetic, and deeply unsettling tone, Threshold presents a huge puzzle right in front of you, but then chokes the very air from your lungs if you divert from your shift patterns in order to engage with it, thus making it beautifully tense from start to finish. And of course, there are many secrets to uncover, but one of its most disarming is also one of its most well hidden, a room with an endless supply of air and answers to the questions that are burning inside your brain. Now, in order to access this mythical room, you need to find specific items, trigger certain events, and blow your little train whistle at certain locations. But if you stumble upon this secret, you will feel revitalized in a way far beyond finally being able to actually bloody breathe. Inside this room that kind of looks like if TV static could be underwater, you'll be met by a mysterious entity which answers questions, poses new ones, and ultimately acts as a moment of respite from the harsh conditions outside. It's that type of secret that makes you feel giddy upon finding it and will crush you upon leaving because, well, it's the only area in the game where your lungs aren't burning for oxygen. Number 7, Army of Sheep, Brothers in Arms, Hell's Highway. Okay, my friends, time to talk about a true blast from the past as we take a look at the incredible tactical World War shooter Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, a game with a title that definitely conveys camaraderie, danger, and in no uncertain terms specifies that there will not be a personal flock of sheep that you can recruit to kill Nazis. And yet, that's exactly what you can do in the game's 4th chapter, Operation Market, when you reach a large open field complete with some empty bottles and some grazing sheep. Now, if you shoot the bottles in a certain order, you'll not only just experience the joy of shattering glass, which, as we all know from visiting recycling banks, is one of the few pure joys left in this world, you'll also unlock a slew of new sheepified soldiers by the name of Lester, Bubbles, and Fluffy. All fear Fluffy. Nazis will quake in their goose-stepping boots at the sight of your new squad of killer woolly jumpers, and if they dare laugh at how cute their little hats are, well, they'll soon be chuckling right into the afterlife because these sheep only attack with explosives. Honestly, if the army contained more highly trained sheep like this, then the war would have been over by bloody lunchtime. Number 6. Red Book Audio, various PS1 games. Now, if you were lucky enough to have grown up in the era of the PlayStation 1's dominance over the video game market, you might actually know a bit of what I'm going to be talking about in this next entry. But for those late to the party, it is time to talk about Red Book Audio, or as it's also known to the layman, magic music that's hidden on your old PS1 games. As it turns out, because it was sometimes easier to leave audio files in this type of format during development, it meant that it was entirely possible to plop a PS1 game into a CD player or computer and be rewarded with a selection of musical tracks from your favourite games, as well as some unexpected sound files and even entirely hidden messages. Grand Theft Auto, for example, had the entire game's soundtrack accessible right off the bat, and Monster Rancher even had a full techno-laced playlist, including some tracks that were not actually featured in the main game itself. Then we got Final Doom's techno remixed versions of some of the game's most iconic tracks, which is accessible by skipping track 1, but best of all is the RPG Lunar Eternal Blue, which featured a custom message from the game's main antagonist if you tried to play audio files from the title on your computer. The big bad would arrive and call you evil for attempting to listen to and rip audio files from the game illegally, and then offers a place at their side for being such a dastardly. Pretty cool, right? Now just imagine how much of a liar you'd be called for telling your friends that the game's main antagonist spoke to you through your computer back in the day. They'd be pulling the s'mores out because your pants would be so very much on fire. Number 5. Mario was hidden in Astal. Now, it's no real secret to learn that Nintendo's greatest mascot has appeared in games outside of his own, as it's kind of a badge of honour to find Mario references hidden inside first-party Nintendo titles across the years. It is, however, a bit more surprising to learn that a clear reference to Mario can be found inside the much lesser known title Astal, and that's mainly because it was a game developed for the Sega Saturn. Now, at this point in time, the console wars were still definitely raging on, albeit it was a victory that was definitely assuredly going in the way of Nintendo at this point in time, but still on they fought, those proud Sega soldiers over there, and they couldn't stop making a few digs at Mario where they could. And after years of diving into the code for Astal, data miners actually uncovered this weird nugget of gold here, an aggressive looking Mario sprite that could have either served as an unlockable skin for the main protagonist, or more likely would have been an enemy to pummel into the ground itself. Well, pummel's maybe the wrong word for Astal here, more that you would grab somebody, throw them over your shoulders, and they would turn into diamonds. It was a weird game. They wanted this to be a system seller, by the way. Look at it. The only thing that this is a spokesperson for is blepharitis. These graphics, muddy and gritty, my friend. But still, seeing as this was a secret that wasn't uncovered until 2022, I'd say that that's pretty well hidden, and a pretty mad one, for the time at least, to boot. Number 4. The absolute insanity of Alien Breed's cheat codes. Now here's the thing, if you're in the business of making cheat codes for your video game, you probably want to make those sequences that just the average person wouldn't be able to guess by accident, because the last thing that you want players doing is turning on God mode and turning your hard work into a piece of cake. However, when it came to the world of Alien Breed, which dropped for the Amiga in 1991, there was little chance at all in guessing the cheat codes, because well, to be frank, they were utterly unhinged and in some cases definitely not safe for work. For example, if you wanted the aliens to hit harder and move faster, you'd pop in the cheat text, "Pit bulls on the loose." And if you wanted them to be weaker, then you would pop in, "Is it true that the aliens support Manchester United?" Weird. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe this is just some gentle ribbing and odd phrasing, right? Just you wait, my friends, because this will soon change from oh dear to oh no with the following cheats. You see, for example, if you want to get some extra keys, you could input "pass the buckos, knob face." If you wanted to reverse the controls, you type in fart. And finally, if you want to skip straight to level 5, you type in "I wonder if Dolly Parton's fanny is as big as her tits." It's rare for me to be speechless, right? Plus, there are many, many more that we simply cannot show here on YouTube because they contain slurs and racist remarks. But one thing is for certain, if you rocked up and told your mates half of these secret codes, well, they would call you a liar and likely boot you out of the WhatsApp group for good measure. Number 3, Demolition Racer switches genres. Now, I won't lie to you, my friends. Yay! When it comes to the secret hidden within the Dreamcast version of Demolition Racer, it's not actually that hard to unlock or experience for yourself, seeing as you can either just use a code to unlock it, or you can just beat one of the game's special arenas. However, the reason that it's on this video is because it is so utterly mad that likely telling your friends about this would make them definitely perform an involuntary impersonation of The Rock, as it sounds like the ramblings of an utter madman. And this is because, despite being a racing/demolition derby style game, Demolition Racer also included a secret mode in which it becomes a light gun on rails shooter experience. That's right, let's talk about Big Car Hunter, which lets you shoot at oncoming cars to score big points, and yes, it is as mad as it sounds. I mean, why such a feature exists is beyond me, as is the actual secret second feature, which is that this mode actually bizarrely supports the Dreamcast light gun peripheral, which was actually soft-locked out of the consoles in North America in the growing fear of video games influencing real-life violence. It's a very simple experience, but a weird one nonetheless, and deserves big points for being such a tonal shift from the main experience that it will likely give you whiplash. Number 2, Captain Carafe, The Suffering Ties That Bind. Now, when I think of the Suffering video game series, a few things come to mind. Firstly, my God, how fun this was. I mean, I'm genuinely gutted that we only got 2 instances of this weird psychological horror action shooter combo. And secondly, I think all about the strange, weird, twisted creatures that inhabit this game, all of which drip with symbolism and torturous meaning. I don't, however, think of the Kool-Aid guy. Oh yeah! I mean, it's not really that surprising, is it? Because, I mean, why would a giant jug of slushy liquid with a propensity for property destruction be something that I'd ever include in this franchise? Well, apparently, it was enough of a nightmare fuel experience for some developer at Midway, because a Temu brand version of the mascot appears in The Suffering Ties That Bind, under the namesake of Captain Carafe. Now, the Captain can be found in Chapter 5, but only after a convoluted series of steps that involves turning lights on and off, and turning sinks on, and even doing some toilet plumbing with your own foot. Now, if you complete all of these steps, then upon reaching this room, the wall will be busted down by a character who looks less like they were straight out of your nightmares and more like they're straight out of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Upon beating the Captain, you'll be rewarded with a cocktail stick-based weapon which absolutely decimates enemies, but if you told your friends about this without video proof, you'd also be rewarded with being taken off the Christmas card list, because this sounds absolutely nuts. And number 1, taking a dip, StarTropics. Now, when it comes to early era puzzle games, such as anything from LucasArts or from Sierra Entertainment, sometimes the solutions were so utterly obtuse and often downright ludicrous, you'd likely have to be sectioned if you could actually connect the dots on your own without help. However, while these games might have had you pulling out your hair and investing in guidebooks, at least they didn't make you actively destroy your property. Because when it came to StarTropics, the only way to solve one of the game's later puzzles was to submerge the game booklet in water. Legitimately, in order to solve a puzzle involving a tiny transmitter and a shoe, don't worry, it makes more sense in context of the game, you'd need to either dunk a page of the manual in water or dab at it in order to reveal the hidden frequency. Now, discovering this for the first time is legitimately amazing, a brilliant connection of video game and reality that I wish more video games actually made more use of. But just imagine the looks on your friends' faces when you told them they had to dunk their manual in water. They not only think you were lying, but also that you were trying to get them to destroy their own game copy. It's not cool, right? But it's also not cool if you happen to be playing this game secondhand without the manual, because, well, it's not like there was a quick Google search function at the time of this game's release. This would have either been an arduous hunt for the original copy, or getting the info from a friend of a friend who wrote it down, or more likely would have just been the end of your time in StarTropics. Rough. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video game secrets so well hidden you'd think we're lying. I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on my social medias where I'm at RetroJ, but the O is a 0, over on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you want to follow my lovely editor Mark, you can do so by following him here over on his social medias as well. But before I go, I just want to say one thing, my friends. Hope you're treating yourself well with love and respect. I hope that you are reminding yourself every goddamn day that you are a big legend. You deserve the big 3: love, happiness, and success. We all do as human beings, so treat yourself with that love, treat everyone else with that love, and you will live a healthy, happier life. Trust me on that. Big love to you, my friend. Get out there and smash it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.